Thank you, Michael. Ben Adam, Ale, Lamale, Ale. The tune Michael was just playing, last year's leitmotif, it still works. Human, lift yourself up. You have wings to fly with. Page 141 for this semi-homecoming Erev Rosh Hashanah. Ma tovu, how beautiful is it to be in the house. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I'm going to be looking a lot at the camera because I believe there are more folks there than here, but it is thrilling to see all of you as well. It is a mixed bag for sure. Shana Tova just the same, as much as possible for each of us. So welcome, especially to those for whom it is the first time in a long time, perhaps even the first time in a long time, joining on screen, and certainly for many of us to be in the room together. The fact that it is a mixed bag new year, this reality, it means that we might be spiritually and emotionally present, and we might not. We might be a bit distracted. And that is okay. And as much as possible, the first suggestion for tonight and throughout these holy days, be here now as much as you can. Second, be here anywhere, in your living room, in your car, from your office, or at shul. Be here in your jammies or your bike gear, your casual or your Sunday or Labor Day finest. Be here fully, we hope. And when you need to, be here as you can, even coming in and out. Third, be here safely, even by being away. If you have underlying conditions, risk factors, young kids around, be safe if you are here, by staying masked, just one speaker or singer at a time and keeping distance, excited as we are to see each other. However and wherever, be here safely and be here now. And last, celebratory as the opening of the new year is, and challenging as a COVID Rosh Hashanah, a second COVID Rosh Hashanah, Gewalt, is, exciting as a new Shemitah year is, at least for some of us, let's never forget the spiritual and moral urgency of what is ahead of us. This is the kickoff to the Aseret Yemei HaTshuva, the 10 days of focused repentance, introspection, checking, changing, bettering. Tshuva is at the heart of these holy days. Don't waste any time. Links to the Machzor online, as well as the handouts with some of the poems and read-alongs tonight, were in the email that was sent. And if you are online, hopefully you got it. You can always go to adatshalom.net, click on Holy Days, and the links will then appear. Please do have them at the ready. And those of us with a Machzor, we can open to page 48, the second paragraph. The whole world is a very narrow bridge. Try not to be afraid.
ודע שאדם צריך לבוא על גשר צר מאוד, על גשר צר מאוד. ודע שאדם צריך לבוא על גשר צר מאוד, על גשר צר מאוד, והכלל והעיקר שלו להתפחד כלל, שלא להתפחד כלל, והכלל והעיקר שלו להתפחד כלל, שלא יתפחד שלא יתפחד כלל, ודע שאדם צריך לבוא על גשר צר מאוד, על גשר צר מאוד, ודע שאדם צריך לבוא על גשר צר מאוד, על גשר צר מאוד, והכלל, והעיקר שלו להתפחד כלל, שלא יתפחד כלל, והכלל והעיקר שלו להתפחד כלל, שלא יתפחד כלל, שלא יתפחד כלל. It's a pleasure now to invite Malcolm and Michelle Russell Einhorn, old friends and members, I shouldn't say it that way, longtime friends and members who are returning to us as they return to this area. And I'll ask us all now to turn in our machzor to page 291 to tune in as they share Marge Piercy's beautiful poem, White Butterflies, page 291.
White butterflies with single black finger paint eyes on their wings dart and settle, eddy and mate over the green tangle of vines in Labor Day morning steam.
The year grinds into ripeness and rot, grapes darkening, pears yellowing, the first Virginia creeper twinning crimson, the grasses dry straw to burn.
The new year rises, beckoning across the umbrellas on the sand. I begin to reconsider my life. What is the yield of my impatience? What is the fruit of my resolve?
I turn from frantic white dance over the jungle of productivity, and slowly a nigun slides, cold water down my throat. I rest on a leaf spotted red.
Now is the time to let the mind search backwards like the raven, loose to see what can feed us. Now the time to cast the mind forward to chart an aerial map of the months.
The new year is a great door that stands across the evening, and Yom Kippur is the second door. Between them are song and silence, stone and clay pot to be filled from within myself.
I will find there both ripeness and rot, what I have done and undone, what I must let go with the waning days, and what I must take in. With the last tomatoes, we harvest the fruit of our lives.
Thank you, Malcolm and Michelle. The sun is setting on this year of 5781, and invite us to turn to the Psalm for Elul in these last hours of Elul, page 1218 in your machzor, page 1218, and to take up together that most famous verse. If it all had to boil down to one thing, we might pray for that ability to stay connected to the life force, to remember its beauty, and to dwell in its home base wherever we are. Please join me, page 1218. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש, אחת שאלתי שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש. שבתי שבתי בבית אדוני, שבתי שבתי כל ימי חיי, שבתי 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 בבית אדוני, שבתי שבתי כל ימי חיי, לחזות בנועם אדוני. To gaze upon the beauty of Adonai. One thing I ask of you, my God, to be with you all of my life. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש. Join me in a gesture of gratitude to Michael Gottlieb, who brings so much beauty into our community and helps us find our way to our prayers. In just a moment, we will invite this wonderful group of singers back to the Bima to share with us the beloved poem and song Shir Tishrei, which is printed on your handout. The English is printed on your handout. Before I invite them forward, so enormous gratitude to these singers who are here with us on this Bima throughout the holidays this year, who have been working hard and navigating the Byzantine path of pandemic safety while they try to do this thing which turns out to be quite dangerous during the pandemic, which is to sing. So you'll see them here always with their masks on, having been tested and reassured that everyone's participating safely this evening. We will have an opportunity to hear our full choir via video a few different moments throughout the holidays, but in person, we're working with a chamber group, and I want to especially thank two guests who are with us in this chamber group, Cantor Michael Mandel and David Steinhorn, who have joined us from Baltimore this year. We're very, very grateful. And as always, to our marvelous choir director, Lisa Summers. Before they come up, I ask us to take a moment and welcome in new faces to our community, people who have joined us as members of Adat Shalom, and also people who have joined the families of our members, most of them as brand new little people on the planet. The people that are joining us remotely this evening are now going to see a set of images, and I want to also thank our wonderful master sound technician, Jeff Gruber of Blue House Productions. And Jeff, I'm going to ask you to start with the babies first, if you could. So those who are because I'm still only 37, but no. And finally, Julia Tassel welcoming her grandson, Lev Julian Pitts Tassel. And now if we could turn to those who are new members, and just to name them here for those of us that are here in the room, welcoming Dwight and Ingrid Alpern, welcoming back Wicca Jampolsky Davidson, Harvey and Patty Iglarsh, as we said, Michelle and Malcolm Russell Einhorn, Sarah Flores Shannon, Robin Toblin, Brian Blumberg, and their daughter Jackie, Sky Adler, Margie, Samantha, and Tabitha Cutler, who are joining with Mark Klapow, Daryl and Fung, Margie Galler, Steve Horn, and their daughter Serena, Eileen Jenkins, Abby Mosheim, Emmy Schachter and her children, Gabriel and Matai Schachter Wheeler, and Sue Ann and Michael Unger. And maybe somehow the end of the images and the end of my recitation of the names has matched up. Excellent. So to welcome all of these new faces on our planet and in our community, and to look forward to a chance to be together with them. And I'll ask now if the singers would come forward and invite us all to turn to the words of Shir Tishrei, the song for the month of Tishrei, which we enter by the changing of the sun and moon in just a few moments. The song which says, Bo habaita bimhera im haruach hakrira. Bo habaita, may we all come home as the season changes. Come home to our most nourishing spaces, and come home to our highest selves. turn back to our machzorim now, our prayer books. As we continue to watch the sun make its descent. And let's turn to page 58 together, page 58 in the machzor. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכו בית ישראל בגדלה בזמן קריב אמרו אמן אמן יש מרב המבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. Amen. Rising as we're able in our bodies and our spirits, page 62. Baruch et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed. We're seated and continue together. Gratitude to the architect of all creation, who maintains the rhythm of day and night, regardless of the comings and goings of our lives. Page 66, please join with me. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai tzivaot shemo, El chai vekayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam vaed. Baruch ata Adonai, Baruch hu Baruch. Amari varavim, Amen. Join me, please, page 72. Leading us into the evening Shema. Avat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbenu v'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה. And the closing, page 74, ואהבתך לא תסור ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני. אוהב עמו ישראל. Amen. Next page, 76. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shemo Leolam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We'll turn ahead to the closing verses of the Shema, page 84. Please join me just at the end. Ani Adonai Elohechem, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We'll now ask our full choir to tune in with us via video to share with us a modern version of our ancient song of freedom. And inviting once again Jeff Gruber, if you would share that. Those who are in the room will be able to hear it some. Those who are watching from your home sanctuary should be able to hear and see it fully. And then we'll join together in a traditional Micha Mocha at the end.
Many nights we've prayed with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts a hopeful song we barely understood. Now we are not afraid, although we know there's much to fear. We were moving mountains long before we knew we could. There can be miracles when you believe. Your hope is frail, it's hard to give.
Who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe?
say what I never thought I'd say. There can be miracles when you believe. The Holy Spirit is hard to give. What miracles you can achieve. Somehow you will, will you? Shira Adonai ki goga. Ashira Adonai ki goga. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar kodesh nachita bechasteka amzurata. Nachita bechasteka amzurata. Ashira, 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 Ashira Adonai ki goga. Ashira Adonai. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar kodesh. Nachita bechasteka amzurata. Nachita bechasteka amzurata. Ashira, Ashira, Ashira. There can be miracles when you believe. The Holy Spirit is hard to give. What miracles you can achieve. When you believe, somehow you
Join me, please, page 90. Moshe u'Miriam u'bnei Yisrael echanu shira besimcha rabba ve'amru chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh Nora tehilot osef ele malchutecha ra'u vanecha pokei hayam lifnei Moshe ze eli anu ve'amru Adonai imloch le'olam vad ve'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Gal Yisrael Amen. We turn the page to page 92. As evening begins to descend, mindful of our nature to fret and to worry, we add to the evening prayers, a prayer for peace and the renewal that comes with the night. I ask us now to pause and acknowledge all of our angst. Are our children well? Will we and our loved ones come through this ever-changing pandemic intact? Will the next flood wash away or the next fire burn away what we hold dear? Will those who fought and worked under our flag come out of Afghanistan safely? Will our Black and brown loved ones and neighbors find justice and security? And feel free to add your own here. Let it all come. All of it. And then let us watch as we bless those fears. And just for now, let them go. Our prayers cannot fix the problems that worry us, but those prayers can help settle us and help renew our faith. Let us now, just for a moment, all of us together, close our eyes and envision this Sukkot Shalom, this canopy of peace that can hold all of the chaos, all of our fears, as we lay our burden down for this evening. Page 92. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu malkeinu lechaim ufros aleinu sukkot shalomecha v'taknenu b'tzatova milefanecha v'hoshienu leman shemecha. If you just turn the page with me, page 93, and join me. The second paragraph, words from Rabbi Mordechai Kaplan. Please join with me. Enable us, God, to behold meaning in the chaos of life about us and purpose in the chaos of life within us. Deliver us from the sense of futility in our strivings towards light and truth. Give us strength to ride safely through this maelstrom of petty cares and anxieties. May we behold things in their proper proportions and see life in its wholeness and its holiness. Ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha baruch atah Adonai hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Amen. Ashkivenu is the last of the prayers that surround the Shema. Soon we enter the Amidah, the standing prayer. Tonight's service is brought to you by the number 7. And 7, of course, is the stanzas of the Amidah, which we will offer silently. And we will hear the refrains like an old friend coming back, those beautiful extra additions in 4 different places over the course of the Amidah, specific to these 10 days of tshuva, along with some other special pieces. On page 98, we're going to introduce with the biblical verse, heralding this day. And then we go to a separate experience, and those online, you are welcome to either turn the volume down and daven on your own, or stay with a pre-recorded meditation through some of the key lines of the Amidah. And in community, we will have the opportunity to introduce and then pray silently. Page 98, followed by our evening Amidah from 103 through 126.
Erev Tov, everyone in Zoom land. We pray that this is a meaningful Rosh Hashanah, even through the screen. We want to do right by you and some special offerings tonight and over the course of these holidays. For tonight, the silent Amidah, you can continue on your own with the volume turned down for the next 4 or 5 minutes, page 103 through 126. If you would like a brief guided visualization with the 7 themes of tonight's Amidah. Standing or seated as may be your custom, take a deep breath. First, ancestors. Their realities and values and sense of God were all quite different from ours, yet we inherit much from them. Are we doing them proud? A moment to reflect. Zochrenu l'chaim melech hafetz b'chaim. Remember us for life, O ruler who delights in life, and write us in the book of life. Baruch atah Adonai magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Blessed are you, help and shield to our ancestors. Godly power. Mi chamocha av harachamim. Who is like you, parent filled with mercy, zocher yitzurav l'chaim barachamim, remembering their creations for life in mercy. None is, of course, like God, yet we too possess a bit of that power, unique among life on earth, unique even in human history. Are we wielding it well? A moment to reflect. Baruch atah Adonai mechaye kol chai. Divine holiness. Let awe of you infuse the whole of your creation and your people. Let hope infuse all who seek you, and let all who look to you with hope find strength to speak and to act in holiness. A moment to reflect on how we manifest that divine holiness. Baruch atah Adonai HaMelech HaKadosh. Blessed are you, the holy ruler. Fourth, today's holiness. You have brought us, Sovereign One, near to your service, and you have given us in love this day of remembrance, a holy convocation. Preserve us this day for life. Act tenderly on our behalf and grant us success through all our trials. A moment of supplication. Baruch atah Adonai melech al kol haaretz. Blessed are you, ruler over all the land, Mekadesh Yisrael v'yom hazikaron, who sanctifies your people and this day. Avodah, worship and service, work and prayer. As we will explore tomorrow, now is the time to find our sacred purpose, to pursue our deepest calling. A moment to tune in to what that might be. Baruch hamachazer shchinato l'tzion. Blessed are you who restores your presence to Zion. Hoda'ah, gratitude, awareness, appreciation for your miracles which are unfolding every day, for your wonders and goodnesses that are with us constantly, morning, noon, and night. A moment to appreciate. Uchtov l'chaim tovim, and inscribe for a good life all the people of your many covenants. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulechana el hodot. Blessed is your great name, and it is great to give praise. And finally, peace. Shalom Rav, great peace. On us, on all our people, on all who dwell on earth. What are we doing to extend peace? And how are we ensuring that justice and peace may yet coexist? A moment. The Sefer Chaim, Bracha, V'Shalom, Uparnasa Tova, in the book of blessing and goodness and peace and sustenance. Please inscribe us. Baruch atah Adonai, Oseh HaShalom, blessed are you, the maker of peace. Those are the traditional 7 blessings on the eve of this 7th year. One last moment on our own to add the promptings of our own heart in silent prayer and meditation.
Shalom Rav Israel Amcha Tatzim Tachatzem Lehocha Shalom Rav Israel Tatzim Tatzim Israel.
Part 3 tonight. Discerning eyes will note that the sun is streaming gloriously into the room. It is not yet the new year, it is not yet the Shemitah year, but it is coming with the setting of the sun. We acknowledge the transition from one year to the next and from one 7-year cycle to the next. After a moment of exploring what it means to enter into the year of radical release, the biblically ordained Shemitah, we then have our concluding prayers and then a Seder for Rosh Hashanah with a number of younger voices joining us on screen. We're very excited. I want to invite Allison and Paul Berman, fresh back from chaperoning the Havaya Israel trip, beautifully, I might add, to read a poem by Aurora Levins Morales, a fabulous Puerto Rican Jewish eco-feminist poet and activist, if you caught all of that, about letting go, and listen especially for the line about the compost. It's good stuff.
Let them go like birds released from cages. Let them go like fruit rinds giving themselves to the soil. Let them go like pebbles rolling away underfoot on a steep trail. Let them go like crumbs scattered for pigeons. Let them go like sweet dripping from our brows.
If we have messed up, let it go into the great compost heap and become the nutrients for new seeds, intentions, and blessings. Pink blossomed azure ripe with tender food. If others have hurt us, let clean water irrigate the wounds, and let the runoff water effortless gardens that spring up between the furrows of sleeping fields, between the cracks of unswept sidewalks, take over the untended lawns.
Let grudges crumble to dust. Let shame dissolve into loam. Let each harsh word we hurl at ourselves be turned into petals before they land. Let everything, all of it, be recycled. Let the trash become jewels we string into necklaces and drape around each other's necks.
Let us enter the year of follows, burdenless, loose-limbed, lie down on the dark earth, do nothing. Let tiny rootlets emerge from our fingers. Let ourselves be covered with moss, and instead of doing, become the sapling students of the elder trees, and be ourselves into the new year, and be ourselves toward the new world that waits, like an autumn bulb packed with unimagined colors, ready to wake and bloom just under the skin of what is.
Entering a year of fallows, the untended lawns, the images that come straight from Exodus 23, and yes, I see some thumbs up, permission to let the weeds grow. There's something incredibly powerful about this notion that starts in Exodus 23. At its simplest, we learn the first time it comes around in Torah that for 6 years we work the land, and the 7th year shall be complete rest, radical release for land and people and animals alike. Let's hear Chazan Jessie Romer and her friends play it. This is the Ladino version of Exodus 23. That 7th year that Exodus 23 talks about starts tonight. Then in Leviticus, it's linked with freedom, part of a cycle from weekly Sabbath all the way to the 50th year Jubilee. Deuteronomy links it with economic justice, forgiving all debts every 7th year. It's a beautiful, idealistic complex of concepts and practices, perhaps too idealistic to ever be implemented as is. It's the consciousness, the values we can learn from. Themes like resilience, equity, and community. Those are great and needed, but Shemitah is not all sunshine and roses. In the curses at the very end of Leviticus, we're told that the land needs and deserves its rest so much that if we fail to create adequate rest for the earth and adequate justice for its inhabitants, destruction and exile are the natural consequence. A warning we can scarcely afford to ignore. Shemitah is nothing less than wholeness. It is bringing all these core values of sustainability, lador vador, from generation to generation, to the fore. And wholeness is the same root as peace. A chant now that we will also come out of the unison reading with, the simple word shalom 4 times, thinking of wholeness as well as peace.
Shalom. 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 In the spirit of wholeness, a new ritual, a unison reading as the Shemitah year unfolds. You can find it on the source sheet that was referenced in that last High Holy Day email or off of adatshalom.net or on the handout. Representing our many environmental and social activists in this community and educators, we invite Lauren Beal and Jerry Ehrenstein to introduce the reading/prayer. And at their cue, all adults will be invited to join me with feeling. The turn of the last century is the rough cutoff if you're wondering whether you are the adult who should say this or the youth to whom this is directed. Those of you in your first couple decades who were born in the third millennium, this blessing is to and for you.
Anir hominim, banayach, your banim, your children, and bonayach, your bonim, your builders. Tradition says they're the same. Our children are our builders. But what foundations are we laying upon which they might yet build? Which of our structures, with which openings, will be their starting place?
We now begin our cyclic Shemitah year of release, of planned fallowness, of equity and simplicity, of letting go and letting nature take its course, of rest and play for all, when we join our children in their play and let them show us the way. If we did really let our children lead us, if we truly planned and built around their needs, what would change? What must we do better?
This cycle comes around just twice or thrice across childhood. It invites us to think beyond the ups and downs of grades or screen time, markets or elections, or public health. It beckons us to approach the big questions intergenerationally. And it serves as a sort of seventh year super teshuva, demanding a deeper than annual look at where our paths have strayed from love or justice or sustainability, and commanding a clear commitment to improving that path.
On these days of awe, we adults, born in and shaped by the previous century, from an era already being eclipsed, we offer a prayer for every child in our community and in our world. We offer our vidui, confessional, apology, our mishaberach, fervent healing prayer, our hoda'ah, acknowledgement, expression of gratitude. We offer this for each other's as well as our own children and grandchildren. For the generation now rising, we say together,
Please. Ahava rabba ahavnu etchem. With a great love, we have loved you, our children, our builders, our hope, our future. Yet we have fallen short, forcing you to clean up our many messes. You will inherit our mixed legacy that shines in some places with divine ore and looms elsewhere like a plague, choshech, total darkness. Will we commit in time to changing our ways and leaving you the fullness of creation? And if we do,
Will you forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement? The world we have shaped is far from redemption, against the wisdom of Torah and against the conscience of our hearts. Inequity only increases, injustice yet infects on our watch. Carbon has catastrophically climbed, spiking ever higher with us at the helm. Division has been sown and grown, with unity seeing ever more utopic and distant. If and only if we turn, if we fully support your efforts to right the ship, will you forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement? May the Holy One who blessed our ancestors, who gave us the abundance we now enjoy, help us find the courage to help make your lives a blessing. You, our progeny, are in need of healing, due in part to we who came before you. With our belated teshuvah, may you know refuah shlema, a renewal of the body politic, a renewal of social spirit and inner spirituality, a return to the living source of our bodies, the spirit of Mother Earth, a release from all that is not sustainable and all that is not just. Our children, our builders, we join you in the spirit of Shemitah, release, of healing, of tikkun, repair, setting things aright, of teshuvah. We affirm our commitment to make this a Shana Tova, a good year that sets up a truly good future, 7 years hence and far beyond. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may the will be there to make it so. Shalom. 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 Page 1202. Our concluding prayers begin with the affirmation of our need to be on this path of tikkun. It was in Aleinu that we first get the phrase letaken olam, to repair the world. Page 1202, invite us to rise in body or in spirit. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shenatan lanu torat emet, vechaye olam nata betochenu, vanachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני רוח מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שבנו תשמיים ויוסנו ושמשיב ובשמיים אמן מלכנו עצמנו ובשמיים ומשתחווים עוד על כן נקבלך לתקן עולם במלכות שדי. Bottom of 1206, כי המלכות שלהם מיד תמלך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני לרוח על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה הוויה אחד, ושמו,
Ask you to remain standing if you are in mourning or observing a yortzeit this year. And turn together to page 1216. All of us holding the memory of our loved ones while we honor those who are standing in recognition of their particular status as mourners at this time. Page 1216. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehe shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'amei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei dekudsha barichu. Le'ela le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen.
Together in song with that last line. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Yaseh shalom, ta'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru.
Amen.
Amen. A deep breath, a reminder for anyone who might be leaving shortly to reconvene at 9:30, same bat time, same bat channel. We look forward to more Rosh Hashanah with all of you. And now, a Seder and a new member of the Adat Shalom team.
We're going to transition now to some special blessings to say at the table. So I'll say to those of you that are here, you're more than welcome to stay because we have our own Seder beautiful basket here prepared by our new educator who I'm going to introduce in just a second. There also is a Seder guide on the table right outside if you'd like to pick one up and take it home. I will reassure you, as I said to my own kids when they looked at me cross-eyed, like, oh, we have to do another Seder now? It's short and sweet and a way to add some meaning to our Rosh Hashanah meal. So if I actually could ask Carol, Carol Stern, if you'd be willing to just take the copies that are there, and if anybody in the room here would like a copy to follow along. I'm going now to introduce Razi Epsteiner, who has just joined our staff as our new educator. We're very excited to have her with us. And Razi, I'll ask you to come here and take Rabbi Fred's mic.
Hi, I'm Razi. So we all know about the Passover Seder and the Tu B'Shvat Seder, but I had not heard of Rosh Hashanah Seder until about 2 weeks ago, just when I started, and Rachel said, let's do a Seder. It actually has roots that can be traced back to the Babylonian Talmud around 300 CE, and it's centered around the symbolic foods for the holiday. So today on our Seder plate,
Yes, I will be your Savannah. Yeah.
we have dates. Ooh. Yeah, good. Small beans, the best beans.
These are the good kind of small beans.
We have carrots, pomegranate, apples and honey, and then over here we have a challah. So we actually are going to start, and we have some wonderful students who will be joining us via Zoom to lead part of our Seder. So we will start with the Corn family and candle lighting.
What did I just do with the matches?
They're right in front of you.
They're right in front of me. Good. It's a custom to rise together when we light the candles, and we'll be able to hear Kate and Serge and Ella and Lior. Now, we won't be able to see them, but we'll be able to hear them. As you're ready, Corin family.
All right, ready?
Ready.
Go ahead, Ella.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel yom tov. Thank you, Corin family. We're going to join together now in a prayer for our loved ones. Oh, hear our prayer we sing to you. Be gracious to the ones we love and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear our prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say amen. Oh, hear our prayer we sing to you. Be gracious to the ones we love and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear our prayer to you. with the Kiddush for Erev Rosh Hashanah, for Yantif. And we listen for the special melody that we hear only at the holiday. Da 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 da. Just try that with me. Da 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 da. Okay, it's coming up. Yes. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher karanu lavodato veromamanu bikdushato vekidshanu bemitzvotav. Vatiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava et yom hazikaron hazeh yom teruah mikra kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim ki elenu karata ve'otanu kidashta lavodatecha udevarecha emet ve'kayam la'ad. Baruch atah Adonai, melech al kol haaretz, mekadesh Yisrael, veyom hazikaron. And Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. We can be seated, yes, sorry. There's a tradition in Judeo-Spanish culture to have a fish head on your Seder table. Some people find that a fitting choice, and others may find that a difficult choice. We have Swedish fish for our Seder table, and we have plenty to share, by the way. There are different ways that this is understood, interpreted. To have the head of a fish, or in some cases, the head of anything. Some people have a head of lettuce, or the head of another animal. That our year should always be filled with the energy of beginning, the top. Another way of understanding this is that our mitzvot, our good connection to the commandments, should be as many as the fish in the sea. I'll just share a special New Year song, which is printed on your guide. Sea voluntad delante de ti, Adonai nuestro Dios, y Dios de nuestros madres, que se renove sobre nosotros. Año bueno y dulce, sea voluntad delante de ti, Adonai nuestro Dios y Dios de nuestras madres, que se multigüen nuestros zachiot como los pescados en el mar. One more time and join me, please, that our mitzvot be renewed for this year and that they be expanding and multiplying like the fish of the sea. Sea voluntad delante de ti, Adonai nuestro Dios y Dios de nuestros padres, que se renove sobre nosotros año bueno y dulce.
sea voluntad delante de ti, Adonai nuestro Dios y Dios de nuestras madres, que se multigüen nuestros zajíos como los pescados en el mar. Año bueno y dulce, año bueno y dulce.
All right, next up on our Seder plate, we have dates. The date, which in Hebrew is tamar, it shares the sounds with the verb to finish, which is tam in Hebrew, and it comes with the wish that there come an end to our enemies. So I invite virtually Nora Seiden to lead this prayer for us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'et.
Amen.
Adonai our God, power of the universe, who creates fruit of the tree. Yehi ratzon lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu sheyatamu oivenu v'sanenu v'kol mevakshei ra'atenu.
Ken Yehi Ratzon. Beautifully done, Nora. I can't wait to have a seat. Yeah, you can.
All right, next up are the beans. There's
Did you know that beans come in different flavors? You could, for instance, have sun-kissed lemon bean.
It's natural.
Or you could have toasted marshmallow bean.
Also natural.
Oh.
Or you could have a kidney bean if you want.
Beans, or in Hebrew we say rubia, it's related to yirbu, which means to increase. So we ask that God increase our merits this year, and I invite Huxley to lead our bracha, our prayer for us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'adamah.
Amen.
Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu sheyirbu lachiotenu u'tlavenu.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Good job.
Kol hakavod, Huxley.
All right, next up on our Seder plate, we have the gezer, the carrot. It's similar to the Hebrew word for decree. So I'm going to leave this one. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu shetikra ra'ah gezer dinenu ve'yikru lefanecha zachiotenu. Oh, in English. May it be your will, Adonai our God and the God of our ancestors, that the evil of our verdicts be ripped and that our merits be announced before you.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
All right, next is my favorite, the rimon, the pomegranate. The pomegranate was added in the Middle Ages to symbolize the blessing of being filled with so many mitzvot, the way the pomegranate is filled with seeds. So I invite Shira Katz to lead this for us.
Yiratzon Melfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu shenihiyeh mitzvot harima.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
So good. We, of course, need apples and honey for our sweet new year. So Miriam Ribeiro, you're up.
Honey stick.
שתחדש עלינו שנה טובה ומתוקה כדבש. May it be your will. May it be your will, Adonai our God, and the God of our
Okay, one more
ancestors.
blessing before the challah, and that's the traditional blessing for lifting our hands before we eat, which is an echo of ancient times when our temple still stood in Jerusalem. But for today is also a reminder that we who are so fortunate to always have enough food on our tables have to lift our hands to help those who don't have enough. Join me, please, and you can lift your hands. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim.
All right. And we have our challah, which was so kindly gifted to me by a friend this year. And every year on Rosh Hashanah, we start with a round challah as we begin our year. So Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lecha min haaretz.
Amen.
We will pretend to eat it.
Let's show this gorgeous
Oh, yeah.
challah. Beautiful round challah. Everyone, b'te'avon, shana tova, kol hakavod to all of our young leaders this evening, and toda rabba rabba to Razi Epsteiner. And thank you all. We will see you tomorrow morning at 9:30. Dip your apple in the honey. It's Rosh Hashanah.